I'm going to be reacting to the inaugural poet Amanda Gorman's speech. Um, I have not seen this video yet. I did not watch the inauguration. So here we go.
Mr. President, Dr. Biden, Madam Vice President, Mr. Emhoff, Americans, and the world. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can
This girl seems very, very young. Youth poet. I don't know how young youth is, but I do know most poets are not young. So this is definitely something special.
we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace. In the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is. And yet the dawn is hours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one.
So I think she's saying there that she wants to run for president one day. Hold on, I'm just gonna rewind this a little bit. Let's see if I heard that right.
Of becoming president, only to find
a little bit more.
And raised by a single mother, can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are.
So she's saying the girl who wants to run for president one day is now giving a poem for the current president. That's pretty cool.
Are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first. We must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe.
You can tell that she really, really cares about the future of this country. And she's definitely touching on a lot of the problems that we're having right now in our country, such as like racial inequality. So that last part that she just talked about, go back a little bit.
Divide because we know to put our future first. We must first put our differences aside. We lay down.
That right there, the future, we have to put our differences aside. That's a really, really strong message. I like that a lot.
Our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. That we'll forever be tied together, victorious. Not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promised glade, the hill we climb, if only we dare it, because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. and this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this
So right there, not sure if she's talking about the riots at the Capitol or not, but I know like that was a big part right before the inauguration. So if let me just go back a little bit here. I want to listen to
democracy,
that one more time.
and this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated.
Yeah, like that whole Capitol situation really was like a time in our country where we didn't have it was a different time. It was a different it was something we weren't used to. And
This truth
that
and
message
this
right there
faith we
really
trust, for
shows
while we
that
have our eyes on the future,
get
history
better.
has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption. We feared it in its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So, while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, a country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. But one thing is certain: if we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. With every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise.
I can really tell that she's just really focusing on the future. She thinks our country is in a very, very bad place right now, and she really, really wants change, and she wants it now, and she really cares about every individual. She's talking about how she wants change for everybody, and she wants it now, and it's a really good message.
Rise from the gold-limbed hills of the West. We will rise from the wind-swept Northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked South. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade of flame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
Okay, so I can say that I've had heard that last part before. I recognize that. Let me play that again there.
Enough to be it. Blooms as we free it, for there is always
Here, this one right here.
light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
Yeah, that ending, that was a very, very good ending. This speech was definitely, I remember after, like, I didn't watch it, but the celebrities were posting it all over social media. Like, I saw this girl's face. Um, I knew she did some sort of speech, and I knew it had to be very powerful, but this was a very, very good speech, especially for such a young woman to write such a strong message. It shows that our country really does want change, and that even though that she is very young, she's trying to correct the mistakes of people older than her, and she does want good future for all of us. So I really, really, really like the speech and or this poem, and very, very inspirational. Yeah.